Hello guys, welcome to our channel Inspired Tailor. Stay tuned. Today I'll be taking you through how to draft this corporate trouser. So here are the measurements we'll be using for this. So first of all, I got my ruler. To start we need your ruler, a straight ruler. So first of all, you can see my border it has been spread on the table. We're going to make a straight line, which should be our starting line. Make a straight line from that end down. Make a straight line. Make sure the sievage that is not showing, you are not rolling on the sievage. You roll outside the sievage. Yeah, you see how I'm aligning it. Make sure they are both aligned. Make sure they are aligned. Yeah, then you make a straight line. You can see that. Make a straight line. You can see what I'm doing. You can see what I'm doing. I'm just trying to make sure I get it from the right position. So I make a straight line. You can see that. You can see that. Extend it. You can see that. Then I'm going to rule another line up there, which will also be a starting line at that point, to make sure everything is straight, so that there will be no errors while drafting the trouser. So right now we're going to insert the measurements. We're going to insert the measurements. You can see that. So here our waist is 32. Then to get our crotch line to be 32 divided by 4, which is 32 divided by 4, plus 1.5 inch. That's 32 divided by 4 give us 16, plus 1.5 inch divide 16 divided by 2, divide by 2 give us 16, sorry, divide by 2 again 8, then plus 1.5 inches, which will give us 9.5. You see where I marked it? That point will be our crotch line point. That's where our crotch line will be. Then the thigh line, the knee line, the waist to knee length is 30 20 20, sorry. The waist to knee line is 20, so I'm going to mark that. Yeah, waist to knee. Then our ankle line, which is the trouser length or the full length, the trouser length is 38. That 38 plus 2 inches folding allowance or hemming allowance. So you extend the line to the other side, so that when we roll it, we are going to have a straight line. So you can see what I'm doing. You can see that. You mark your crotch line, the knee line, and you come down, you mark the ankle line or the full length of the trouser and the hemming allowance. So we are done with that. Then connect the dots. You can see what I have. Right now I'm going to connect the dots. Connect the dots. You can see that. You can see that. Make sure they are aligned. The dots align. Make sure they are aligned. Make sure they are aligned. You can see that. You can see that. You can see that. You can see what I'm doing. can see what I'm doing. Right now I'm going to insert the measurements into these lines. So we divide our waist. We got the crotch line by dividing our waist by 4, which is 8 plus 1.5, giving us 9.5. So that 9.5 we got, we are going to the same measurement we'll be using for our waistline. So you can see that divided will give us plus that 1.5 inch. You can see the 1.5 inch making it 9.5. Then you mark it from that end. You bring it down to the crotch line. You make sure they are aligned. Then you mark it. Then connect the dots. Connect it. You can see that. You can see that. Then right now I'm going to mark from the waist side. I'm going to come in by 0.3, 0.3, coming by 0.3, then go out by 0.3 from that line we marked. I'm going in by 0.3, which will be our pocket folding allowance. Our pocket folding allowance. Then the pocket depth will be 7.5 inches. I use 7.5 inches. Yes, you can see that 7.5 inches. You can see that. Go ahead and mark it. Go ahead and mark, chalk that place. Then from there you go in from the down of the pocket's length. You go in by 0.3 again. You make a notch there while cutting it. Then you can see that. You can see what I have now. Yeah, you come in by that 0.3. From that point, we're going to mark 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches. First of all, you have to connect this point, this from the top of the waist down to the top of the waist down. You will connect from the top of the waist down to the pocket's depth, which is 7.5 is our pocket measurement. You connect to it from that line. You can see that. You can see what I'm doing. You mark it, just trying to make sure the lines are visible. Here you can see that I'm just trying to make sure the lines are visible so you can see it and make it clear to you. So right now I'm still remarking it to make it visible. You can see that. You can see that it's still the half of an inch that was left outside when we ruled our starting line. I'm connecting it down to the pocket. Yeah, you can see that from the top of the waist down to the pocket. You can see that. You can see that. You can see that. So right now I'm going to mark our pocket depth. That will be for this one I just marked now will be for our full pocket folding allowance. So I'm going to mark our pocket depth, which is 2.5 from the waistline. Marking from that line 2.5, going to be 2.5. Then I'll come up from the crotch line 2 inches. I'll come up by 2 inches, that's where I'm going to connect. That will be our hip line. That will be our hip line. That will be our hip line. And that's where the crotch curve will end. So right now our laps or thigh measurements, which is 24 by 2, is 12 inches. You can see that. Mark 12 inches. Mark 12 inches from there. Then the midpoint, I'm going to get the midpoint. That's 12 divided by 2 because I'm using a center line pattern to draft this trouser. You can see that I got the midpoint, which is 12 divided by 2, 6. I mark it all the way down from the tie line to the new line down to the ankle line and the folding line, or the hemming allowance. So you can see that. Then from the hemming allowance, I'm going to come up. You can see that from hemming allowance, I'm going to come up by 6 inches, so that when I'll be sewing it, the nail that line will align with the tie, so that place will be relaxed. That place will be relaxed. So I come up by 6 inches. Come up by 6 inches from the folding allowance. I'll come up by 6 inches. You can see that. I'll make a line there. I'll mark the line. You can see that. I'm still going to extend the half, which is the 6 inches midpoint. So right now I'm going to connect it. I'm going to connect the lines. This is a center line pattern I'm using to draft this trouser. You can see that. You can see that. So I've gotten the center line. So on it, I'll be inserting the remaining measurements. So these are crotch curve. I'm going to curve it. That's a crotch curve all the way to the 2 inches I marked initially. You can see that. Just be careful here. Make sure it's well curved. You can see that. Then from the waist, I'll go down at that point by 1 inch. I'll go down by 1 inch so that the trouser will be relaxed after sewing it. You can see that. I'll connect it all the way to the waistline. You can see that. Then right now, our nail circumference, which is 17.5 divided by 2 will give me 8.75 divided by 2 again, which will give me 4.38. I'm going to mark it 4.38 down to that side, then extend it to that side to 8.75. Mark it. Then our ankle circumference is 13 inches. That is 6.5 inches divided by 2 give us 6.5 inches. Then 6.5 inches divided by 2 give us 3.25 inches. 3.25 inches. We're going to mark 3.25 inches there. Mark it there. You bring it down to the hemming allowance. We mark 3.25. You can see that. You can see what I'm doing. Make sure it's on the center point, on the center line. Then I'll come up to this point too. Mark same 3.25, so that those places will have same allowance. When I'll be folding it, it will relax. So I'm going to go ahead and connect using my hip rule. I'll connect the lines. You can see that. That's what I'm doing. You see how you see the ruler was in this position down here. Then when I would be drafting up there, you have to take the ruler, but turn it the other way. You can see what I just did. You turned it. Let me repeat it again so that you get exactly what I mean. You see how the ruler was? Then bringing it to the hip side, you're going to turn it to this way to get the accurate shape of the trouser. You're going to rule and stop at the at the crotch line. You come to this side, you connect the lines, connect it. You can see what I'm doing. You can see what I'm doing. You can see what I'm doing all the way to the top. Make sure they are aligned. You can see it. You can see. You can see what I have now. I'm done drafting, as simple as it is. So these are the front panel of the trouser. This is the front panel. You can see, you make sure, pay attention there. Make sure the line is well curved. Give it a nice shape. You can use your pattern master. Actually, I used my free hand here, but you can use your pattern master to draft it to make sure that the line is well curved. So you can see that. You can see that. Right now I'm going to go ahead and cut out the front panel. Cut the front panel. You see, you can see that. Remember the 0.3 I marked there. You're going to notch it and stop at that point. You can see what I just did. Make sure you don't exceed that point. You mark it, then you cut all the way down. Ensure you're cutting on the line. Ensure you're cutting on the line. Cut it all the way down, all the way down. You can see what I'm doing. You can see that. You can see that. I'm going to notch that point, where the pocket will start. With the 2.5 we marked for the pocket, you notch it. You go ahead, cut to this point. Cut to this point. You can see that. Just be careful there, so you don't cut the fabric, the pattern, the border itself. You can see that. You can see that. You can see that. You can see that. So you can see what we have. I'm done cutting the front pattern. You can see what we have. You can see how sharp and nice it's looking already. So you see what we have here. So right now we're going to go ahead and draft the we're going to draft the back. You can see I've aligned the borders for the back. Then what we cut initially was the front. So we're going to draft the back right now. You know, when we cut the front it was this way, but to draft the back you are going to flip it all the way around this way. Keep it. You can see what I did. That's what I did. Make sure that point at the crotch line, make sure I use 2.5 inches here maximum. You can use, depending on your client size, you can use 3 inches All right, here I use 2.5 inches. I use 2.5 inches, and make sure it's exact 2.5 or whatever measurement you're using. If you're using 3, make sure it's at that point. You extend these lines to the back pattern. Extend the lines to the back. At the waist point, come out by 1 inch. You can see that, come out by 1 inch. Come out by 1 inch. Then from this way point, you go up. You remember we took 1 inch out when at the front, so we're going to go up by 2 inch. You're going to connect that point to the crotch point. You're going to connect it to the crotch point, then the 2 inches to the waistline. You can see that. Then you curve that place, connect it with the crotch line for the back. So here I'm going to put a sewing allowance of 2 inches, 2 inches all the way down, 2 inches. Get your hip rule, or you can use your free hand. You connect it, connect the lines, connect the lines. You can see what I'm doing there. I'm going to go ahead and cut. So make sure you extend the lines and they are okay. They are the right point. Then at this point, remember we have 1/2 of an inch, which will be for the pockets folding. Then we're not going to cut it at the back. We're going to remove that 1 inch from the back. See how I did it? Then go ahead and cut. That will be for our pocket shade. You can see that. You can see that. Make sure you keep those pieces you get that you cut out. It's going to be useful while sewing it. So right now you can see what we have, our final results. You can see what our trouser look like. You can see how nice that's our zip fly and zip shade. You can see that. You can see that. You can see how it's looking already. You can see how the sweet. You can do this from the comfort of your home. You can see how it's looking. Subscribe to our channel for more content. Subscribe. Peace. Thank you.